ahead and start using these glasses.
Wait for them to. Okay.
We're good.
Hey guys, we're going to be working on some more hooks and soul stuff today. Also some braking stuff. About half and half. There are going to be quite a few announcements at the end of class, so make sure you're paying attention to those. But you're going to need some kind of large pad, such as this, or shield, big pillow, something, preferably somebody else who can hold it for you also. You're also going to need a small target, focus pad or something. We will do the post and soul stuff first, and then we will get into some of the braking stuff. As you can see, I'm cleaning off dog hair from everything. So I'll give you guys a couple of minutes to get that stuff together. Again, you're going to need somebody who can help hold it for you. We're not dealing with just, how to hit stuff, but actually how to do braking when we get there. So get that stuff together. I'll give you guys a minute and we will get started.
Morning, Dr. Kramer. The doctor said one.
All right, close enough. So, let's go ahead and get started, everybody. Yep. I'm Joe. Mukyan. Forget. Salonduke. Kuni. Konwan. So, do a little bit of stretching. As usual, I kind of want you guys coming into this already stretched out and stuff. We're kind of used to hour-and-a-half classes. We're doing 1 hour online. So you should already be, mostly stretched out and warmed up, but we'll do a few here. Okay, start with the wall, pick an ankle. Okay, heels up, rotate your ankle, get the largest circle you possibly can. Hopefully you're not having some of the foot issues I've been having. This does not feel particularly good right now. And other side. All right, just so I can cheat and get through this a little bit easier today, pick your knee up or your foot up, pull it to your rear end, point your knee at the floor, and push your stomach out. Remember, you're not pulling up on your foot, you're not pulling backwards on it, you're just holding it. Trying to get the front of your thighs. And other side. Same thing. Knee down, push your hip forward, push your belly out, whatever you want to call it, however you want to look at it. And relax. All right, take a nice long walking stance. Keep that back leg nice and straight. Push your heel into the ground. Okay, you shouldn't be leaning forward. You should be trying to keep your back as straight as possible. If you're using the wall kind of the same I am, lengthen it out so that your big toe is right up against the wall, arms completely straight out. You can use your knuckles, that's fine. Okay, it's going to help keep your back straight and just push that heel as far into the ground as you can. And switch. Same thing. big toe against the wall. Not jamming into it, just touching it is all it takes. And relax. Okay, so for this next one, if you have somebody with you, it works a lot better. It's kind of my preferred way, but otherwise, find something that's kind of high up, or kneeling down on the ground. You can put your leg up on a couch like this, okay? Trying to stretch out that hamstring, okay? Leaning into it. Keep your leg nice and straight. Okay, I've got Mr. Hanson here. I'm going to show you how to do this with a partner, but otherwise hold that stretch if that's what you're doing. Mr. Hanson, right here, kneel down for me for a moment, please. So I'm going to put my foot, my heel, all the way up on his shoulder, my toes pointing at it. And all he's going to do is slowly stand up. That's fine, sir. And relax. Okay, other side. If you're on the couch, just switch legs, holding the same way. Okay. Yeah, there's a little here. Yeah, stretching a little colder. And relax. Okay. Now, if you're with a partner, you need to help out your partner. Okay. Take a look. Oh. So, Mr. Hanson obviously needs to do this more. Again, this is that hamstring stretch, that muscle on the back top part of your thigh. Try not to get into Mr. Hanson's bad habit, aim your toes out. More. Yep. Needs to be straight in front. See, he's liking this now. And relax. All right. Other side. So towards me. I'll try my best with this one. Oh, yep. Like I said, Mr. Hanson needs to do this a little more. He looks like he's dying. Oh, I'm putting weight on my ankle. Stretch. And relax. All right. From right here, bring one arm across your chest, pull it in. And the other side. And relax. Fingers together, palms out, arms straight, all the way up over your head, and as far back as your arms will go, and lean into it a bit. And relax. All right. That'll do for now. So, talked about back falls and side falls. We've even done front rolls. And we've done spin and drop throws. We've done the very beginnings of hip throws. Okay. If you guys notice, I've also limited my floor here, so you can tell that we're not going to be doing a lot of stuff that's going to cover a lot of distance today. Okay. But where we are with hip throws, as soon as I have Mr. Hanson again. where we are with hip throws. We started with how to do the basic lifting portion, okay? And I needed Mr. Hanson. Okay, so what we started was, with that judo style ready position a couple weeks ago. Okay, by the way, I apologize for missing last week, guys, but we're tall. Okay, but so we were doing that judo style hip throw thing. Okay, where we started off like this. So matching hand grabbing each other's gilbach, other hand grabbing the elbow. Okay, this is judo style ready position, right? Okay, we talked about letting go with this hand, the one grabbing the chest, under the armpit, around the back, stepping across so that we're both basically facing the same direction and lifting. Okay, now one of the things I want to point out is that right now Mr. Hanson is resting on my hips. That's why we call it hip throw. And if you notice, his head is kind of aimed towards the ground right now, and his legs are almost upwards. Okay, so the beginnings of hip throw. All right, now because I don't remember everything that I pointed out last time, I want to go through a couple of things before we go any further. Okay, Mr. Hanson, bend over at your waist. If your partner cannot bend naturally over you, you've messed up. Okay, relax. All right, face the cameras, please. All right, if you are standing in a position something like this, where you're 90 degrees to each other, you've messed up. Okay, you need to be almost directly in front of your partner like this. So a good place I think to start practicing is with your partner. Put your partner behind you. They don't need to choke you. Okay, standing directly ahead of them. I want you to pick an arm, bring it back and around your partner. Okay, so now I've got kind of this position going on, right? Okay, bend and push up. You should be able to lift your partner pretty easily. Okay, now if you notice, I'm not really putting any strain into it. Okay, it's uncomfortable for him, but for me, there's no strain. Okay, the idea here is that you're standing naturally, bending your knees, pulling them in close, and pushing your butt up against them to lift them up off the ground. Okay, so I want you to do this several times. Okay.
Time out for just a second. I see everybody's here. Please let us know that you are here, just so we can acknowledge you. Hi to the Sorianos and my mom who's watching in Kansas.
Hi. Okay. Yes. Let us know who all is here.
And it does depend on the body strength. With some of it, Mr. Hanson has his arm up here.
Okay.
And someone like me.
It's not strength, okay, but Mr. Hanson's not. He's got the right idea with this. Okay. If you are a particularly short person, okay, so again, if my opponent's standing this tall and his waist is like up here, I'm not going to be reaching way up here, okay? I'm going to be reaching around his waist, okay? Grabbing his belt maybe just to get something else to really latch onto, okay? As my partners are closer to my size, I have a tendency to wrap more around like their midsection here, okay? Like right where the floating ribs and all that stuff are, okay? It's more comfortable place for me. And as they get thrown, my hand slides and pulls them over, okay? None of those are wrong, okay? It's just, what is your comfort? If you are a person who really needs to be able to latch on and hook, okay, here, doing this, okay, and grabbing the belt, okay, like I am right now is more appropriate. This works, this works, okay? As my opponent gets shorter, My arm wants to stay more naturally right here. Me, okay? Not that that's right or wrong, just me, okay? Right side, left side, they all do the same thing, okay? Which brings me into, make sure you're doing both sides, okay? Now, so here, all the way up and around, he's being nice enough to move his arm for me. Down, push with the legs, okay? Now, on my left side, if you guys notice, I'm not really reaching as much towards his shoulder, like this. I do reach straight across. So, one side's going to be a little bit different. It happens, okay? But if you notice, I'm able to have a good conversation with you guys without, okay, yeah.
Unlike
You
me,
shouldn't be muscling people up, okay? So,
unlike me, who
now that you've done that a few times, okay? The actual throwing part, okay? Mr. Hanson, stand up there for a moment, all right? So, he's behind me. We started off in, judo style ready position, whatever, okay? Ultimately, the throwing position is the same, right? So I've reached around him. I've got him up on my hips, okay? This is where I'm seeing a lot of people misunderstand the point of this throw. There's no body twisting in this, okay? It's up and down, okay? I am bringing my hands in a windmill this way over me. I'm not bringing them around me side to side this way, okay? So, Mr. Hanson, sir, okay, behind me, start behind me. All right, so I want you guys to watch my hands here for a moment, okay? All right, are you ready? Sir. This time I'm actually throwing, so be prepared. Sir. All right, so I'm here.
Careful.
I come back and around. I'm hooking him and I'm pulling him in close. Okay, that's really the point of the arm, is to keep him in close. Down, up. Now my hands, this hand is going to come straight down over his shoulder. Move this arm. Okay. Now he's like trying to throw himself sideways. Bad. Okay.
I'm trying to miss this stuff behind me.
Don't worry about it. You will. Okay. So we're here. All right. Are you ready? Go. All right. I pull him in close. I dip. I lift. Are you ready? Sure. Okay. And I bring him down. Okay. So what?
Gotta hit the back.
Oh,
There's more of me.
okay. Which is why I'm not going to throw him too many times here. Okay. Because underneath this we have concrete. We have a little bit of cushion. Not a lot. Okay. Now, fine. Perfect. All right. So if you notice where he landed, okay, he didn't land sideways. Actually, lay down on my back for me. Okay. He didn't land this way. Okay. Bring your head towards me, your feet away from me. Okay. More. Okay. He landed more like this, right? Okay. So yeah, I know he landed like right in the middle of the red and blue. Right. More the point is that your partner should fall this way, not sideways in front of you. Okay. So
Good morning,
There
Mr.
you-
Holtman.
there you have a hip throw. Okay. Why is it called a hip throw? Because what you're throwing them over is your hips. I'm sure you guys have heard of a shoulder throw. A shoulder throw happens the same way. I'm not actually going to throw him, okay? But as I throw him, I'm throwing him over my shoulder.
This is Soriana asked, would this work if somebody tall was chasing you or only grabbing you from the front?
Okay. This is one of those, it all depends on you things, okay? If he's attacking me from the front, okay, I should be able to step in and throw him, okay? If he's attacking me from the rear, okay, I should be able to do this and throw him, okay? If he is running after me, now running is a different thing, okay? I'll go to that corner for a second. If he was pretending to run at me and I say, kicked him to stop him and then stepped into the throw, okay, well, yes, you could. But this isn't a running throw, I guess is a good way to put it. There really are throws that you can do while somebody's running at you. Okay. If he was choking me, one hand, if he was choking me this way, okay, it would look something like release with a punch, elbow to the face, up and around, okay, so on and so forth, okay. If he was doing a two-handed choke, okay, it might look like something, twin vertical punch to the body just to get him to react, right? Okay, hook punch to the head, elbow so I can get, there's my step in close, and then there's the throw, okay? But if he was, see what I'm choking? If he was choking me this way, I wouldn't necessarily do a hip throw because as I have to sink down, I'm choking myself and I'm trying to lift it. I wouldn't do it that way. Okay, there's other throws I would use. Okay, so any other questions? I like the questions, guys. All right, this is all about application. Okay, this is all about application and how we do this. Okay, so ultimately, the things you have to worry about is how do I maneuver into the position to do the hip thrust. Okay, and ultimately, it shouldn't matter if you start this way, if you start this way, or if you start like hold a knife against me. This way, okay? So he's got a knife up against my back, okay? No, I should still be able to move, strike, get him into position, and then be able to throw him, okay?
I'm so glad I'm wearing the cup.
So right now, all we're talking about, of course, is this is what the technique looks like. Using it, well, use your imagination, okay? If, hold a gun on me. If he's got a gun on me, am I going to be doing a hip throw from here? My answer, I would hope from you, is no, okay? On the other hand, if he's got me here and he's got a knife in the other hand, okay, can I do a hip throw from here? Okay, if he's got it like this, well, sure. Well, now he's cut his own arm and he's worried about letting go, and I can bring it up, over, and there's my throw, okay? I mean, maybe that's not the smartest thing to do, but that's not really the point right now.
Yeah. Once they were holding him,
okay. So it's all about, study the technique, get used to doing the technique, get really efficient at it, and you could use it 100,000 ways. Okay, so there's your basic hip throws. Like I said, I'm not going to throw them a lot, not on this ground. It is kind of confined, and if I really throw them, his feet are going to get into the ceiling and everything. So, although it would be funny if he was hanging upside down from there. All right, now it would be. So there's your hip throw.
Dr. Kramer says he needs to address the taller person attacking part. You need to address the taller person attacking part.
Okay. Taller person attacking you. All right. So, Dr. Kramer, I'm pretty sure you already know this, but I always imagine Dr. Kramer's brother. He's 6'7", so even now, Mr. Hansen's a little bit short. Okay. Her brother really is this tall. Okay. He's a great guy, but I always imagine somebody that size because he's also strong, like a lot stronger than I am, but a lot stronger, as well as nice and wide and big. And okay, so if you're being attacked by a larger person, believe it or not, throws like this are easier on a taller person than they are on a shorter person. Okay, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. Notice where my waist is. Okay, so Mr. Hansen, hold your balance and bend over. I almost have him thrown already. Okay, so from here, if we're doing this, say judo style, ready position, everything happens the same, but now I really am grabbing his waist. Okay, all right. You still have to lift. There's just a lot less work because their waist is so much higher that they bend over you even more naturally. Okay? But to lift that person and throw them, you would never stop moving. Okay? Once you've started the throw, you have to continue it because holding somebody who's 500 pounds, 6'7", and just super strong, they can outpower you still even while they're there. Okay, so you've got to start and finish in one move. Okay, is that what she was after?
Tell him Mrs. R. Okay. You know. Did that answer your question, Mrs. Soriano? Let me know. Let us know if that answered your question about the tall person.
Okay, so on the couch for a moment. One of those things.
And Dr. Kramer, does that answer her question? She said yes.
Okay, so one of those things I will throw out there as your opponent gets bigger, as sad as it is to say, I actually encourage stunning them first, okay, striking them, catching them off guard somehow, okay. So if he does grab me here, okay, it's not just me grabbing here, but it also becomes me, striking to the face or striking to the body, then striking the chest or grabbing or whatever to get into position, okay, or even grabbing, making him bend over as I step in to do the throw, okay. So it really becomes even more important, I think, there to stun your opponent than somebody who's a little more equal in size to you. Okay, Mr. Hansen, he's a little bit taller than I am, but it's not significant enough to make that as necessary. But I probably still would for somebody even his size. Okay, so there's your hip throws. Second piece here. Starting with going into breaking. You know what? Let's do this first, okay? Go ahead and take 2 minutes, minute, whatever. Get some water real quick, all right? And we will, get started with breaking.
Water. Mine.
I was wondering where she was pointing to. Okay.
By the way, Zelda says hi. Hi.
Okay. Water should be much closer and much easier to get since you're at home. So it shouldn't take, quite a minute here. So, all right. We are going to start. I'm going to grab my tablet. I've got, where's my tablet? Oh, hand me my tablet down there, please. Yeah, the white cable, what's connected to. Or throw the mouse down, either one. Okay. Tell me if I can't find this here in a second, guys.
Stop. I don't want to hear you.
Okay. What we are going to start with. All right, I guess I'm not using this. That's okay. So, Mr. Hansen, stand right over here, please. Just hold the force shield up. Force shield. The focus, that thing, the blue thing, okay? So your small target. We're going to work on knife hands, side kicks, and turning kicks here in the next few minutes, okay? So, Mr. Hansen, nope. Oh, yeah. And hold it properly, please. All right.
No, I just didn't know how you wanted it to go.
keep moving it. Then you move it. Okay. So I will point out that this is a very bad habit to get into. The fingers across the top is a really bad idea. So your partner, we're going to start off, like I said, with a knife hand, okay? Your partner is going to hold it about shoulder level, so the top is about the same height as your shoulders, okay? Whatever target you're using, it doesn't matter, okay? Your knife hand, never get confused. Every knife hand is exactly the same because it's always the same spot, okay? You don't hit with the forearm. You don't hit with the pinky. You're going to hit. There's the pinky joint. There's the wrist joint, halfway in between them, here, okay? You're not squeezing your fingers together. You're making them long, so if this part gets a little bit stiff, okay? There's my knife hand, okay? If you notice, the top is about the same height as my shoulders. My hand reaches the middle of it nice and easily, okay? Now, this is the right height, the right tool. Now we have to get into what you actually do, okay? Mr. Chance, I'm going to put you right up against the wall, okay? Just to create enough space here, okay? So everybody worries about, getting the correct cross down for this, the correct movement. Do you step into it? Do you not step into it? Is it just a twist? Are you just swinging your arm? Okay. Well,
The Monroy.
Hi. Okay.
Monroy.
Mr. and Mrs. and young Monroy, how are you guys? Okay, so when you're doing your knife hand strikes, okay,
Dr.
it's a
Kramer has
combination
a
of
Zoe
hi Zoe
and Roxy.
and Roxy, Frankenstein, Toby, if you happen to be around, hi. Okay, so when you're doing your knife hand, it's a kind of a combination of all of that stuff, okay? Is there a step? Sure. Not always, but sure, okay? Is there a cross? Well, yeah. Is there, a hip turn? Of course. Is there, don't overcomplicate things, okay? Start off simple. He's got the target up. I know his arm's getting tired here, okay? He's got my target up. So I put my knife hand in the middle, okay? This, when you start to feel muscle tightness because it's stretching into it a little bit, you're doing something wrong, okay? If it feels awkward, you're doing something wrong, okay? If you're reaching across your body, doing something wrong, okay? Just put your knife hand on it and make it comfortable, okay? And what you're going to find is you're going to stand at a little bit of an angle, okay? You're probably not going to be standing directly in front of the target, but the target's going to be off to your side, okay? Mr. Hanson, just stand here for a minute. I'll save your arm. Face the camera. And yep, we're going to step back now. You okay? So my knife hand is on my target, okay, which on him would actually be like solar plexus or the neck, okay, but you'll get the idea here, okay. I'm going to use the neck because this is where I would use the knife hand more than the solar plexus, just me, okay. So I'm here. My knife hand's on the target. If you notice, his feet are more or less aimed at you, or like 3 different corners. All right, just stand. All right. My feet are aimed over here, so they're not aimed at him, they're not aimed at you, they're aimed somewhere halfway in between. Believe it or not, that's actually the correct angle, okay? So here's where I'm striking. This spot where I'm standing, this is where I build my stance, okay? I'm not going to move closer, further, in front, or further behind. My stance is going to go right here, okay? I've got my sitting stance. I'm in the same spot, okay? See, now that I'm in my stance, I've dropped down. Now I'm hitting more like solar plexus, right? Go figure, okay? I'm pretty sure you guys can see my feet pretty well. This is where the important action happens. I turn away. Notice that I'm bending down on it. And I twist. My knees are still bent. I twist some more. I'm striking, and I go through the target, okay? So all starting from here. 1, there's my cross. 2, there's where my stance ends. So my final position is aimed at my target, right? Now, right over there. Hold the pad, please. This way I don't kill him. You guys notice, this is about the right height with that of the solar plexus. It's almost like there's science behind the martial arts somewhere. Okay, so knife hand. Comfortable position, stance. Twist out, twist through. Okay? This isn't a robotic motion. It's also not a slow motion. Okay? It's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? It's 1 all the way through. Okay? So I'm here. Each time I set it up the same, twist out, twist through. Okay? Yeah, I know. Right? So there's your motion. Now we got to add 2 more things. Okay? The first thing, if your target is here, you shouldn't be looking at a camera. That's how my keep hitting the bottom, okay? Because I'm trying to talk to you guys. All right? So I'm here, I twist out, and I twist through. Okay? Cross come, and you go through. Okay? Once you've done it, once you're in the same spot, as long as your target goes back, you should be able to hit it continuously. Just bam, bam, bam. Okay? And it should be a really easy thing. All right? So there's your knife hand. All right? Yes, I want you doing that like a million times. Okay? Does it hurt? Well, sure. You're hitting a hard object with human tissue. It's not going to feel pretty. But what I'm going to tell you is you can do stuff throughout the day to help prepare the points of impact on your body. And that's what you do. Okay? You're sitting at a desk. Okay? You've got the corner of your desk. Just sit there and tap it. You don't even need to strike hard. Okay? Getting your knife hands together here works. Okay? Reverse knife hands against knife hands. Okay? There's stuff you can do to prepare for that. But this, you do the motion right, and you can break a lot of boards if you're moving fast through the entire motion, start to finish. Okay? So one more, and then we're going to move on to a new technique. Okay? I'm here. Here's my knife hand. Notice that I'm kind of starting in a sitting stance. I turn out, I turn through, and I end all the way here. There's my walking stance towards my target, just like before. Out and through. It should be that simple. Okay? Now, we have knife hand strike. And we'll hold it up one more time. Okay? Knife hand strikes works here. Okay, just like what I've been showing you. And it's funny that if the target stays where it's supposed to, okay, and I put my inward strike with the knife hand there, nothing changes. All I did was scoot so the target is in front of my knife hand. Okay, there's inward strike, there's outward strike. The technique works the same. Okay, you start the same, you end the same. You're just either doing knife hand strike or inward strike. I should say outward strike or inward strike. Okay, so there's 2 knife hands in one. All right.
Mr. Monroy says greetings from beautiful Afghanistan.
I hope it's nice out there. I hear it's a little bit warm. Okay. So we do a lot on side kicks. So I'm going to jump to turning kicks. Turning kicks are much more difficult than they seem. Not really. They're actually more simple than what people make them. Okay. So first.
Any questions on the hand techniques before he moves on to the foot technique?
I'm going to give you guys like 30 seconds here. So. Anything?
Go ahead, move on.
Well, thanks for your permission.
Well, no, if there's questions, I'll just interrupt.
So, Mr. Hanson, I lied. I want you standing right there against the wall, but facing the cameras. All right, go ahead and put the pad behind your back or something for a moment. Okay, turning kicks. First of all, a turning kick is not a really big circular technique. Okay, it's not going to start here and swing like a baseball bat all the way around. Believe it or not, it's a fairly short technique that does move in a small circular motion because there is a curve to it. Okay, but ultimately, if I'm kicking Mr. Hansen, I'm not kicking him and trying to bring him from here and send him in a circle over here. I'm trying to drive him straight backwards with my kick. Why is that important for braking? Well, braking is how we hit people. Okay. My turning kick here is actually going to drive him towards that brown, tan, gray, whatever color trash can that is back there. Okay. So my kick isn't going to start here and come all the way around and then eventually hit him. No. Okay. It's going to come up like any other kick, like a front kick. Up, turn the hips, and kick through. That's why I'm driving him straight back. Okay. How does all that work? Well, we're going to make it simple at first. Okay. I actually want you to do a lead leg turning kick on your pad. So you're standing here. Your measurement. Okay, if you guys watch. Okay. We're facing the same direction. I don't want that. I actually want my spine at his shoulder. Now we're walking at an angle, right? And you're just going to take a big, the foot that you are not kicking with, take a step, turn and face him in an L stance. Okay? This should be, okay? This is where you're actually going to be kicking from. And turning kick is not a particularly short kick. Okay? If I'm doing my side kick here, I should be able to hit him with my side kick there and my turning kick here in the front. Okay? So, my turning kick. Pick it up like a front kick. As I turn the foot I'm standing on, I actually do my kick because that is what's going to turn my hips into Mr. Hansen. Okay? Thought I was going to kick for real, didn't you?
No, you hit.
Mr.
Ow.
Hansen has just found out about my aim. Not what that said. It actually says that I was doing it right. So if you do this right, it doesn't take much to have enough power to just knock the wind out of somebody. Okay, it really doesn't take much. Okay, so I've got my angle. Okay, I've turned. Now when I pick it up, that is where the kick happens. Okay, right as my foot turns, my hips turn into it, and your hips shouldn't pull you towards your target. It should actually turn you through your target. That's where the power in this comes from. Okay, so Mr. Hansen, just hold straight there. Okay, you don't want to hold that way. My shin might hit your arm. Okay, put both hands through like this. Okay, now I'm not going to be kicking as hard as I can. He has no support behind him, a lot of stuff behind him. Don't need to break the stuff. I'm told we don't need to break him either. So from here, I pick my kick up, and I turn through. Okay, up, and I turn through. Okay, that's how a turning kick works. It's right as you're kicking, your hips turn, well, your foot turns, your hip turns, everything comes through the target. Okay, now I know somewhere along the lines I'm going to get the question of the ball of my foot. How do I get with the ball of my foot and not my toes? Well, if you're having that much of an issue, change your angle. Okay, so I can kick fairly naturally with a turning kick at this angle. Turn in front of it just a little bit. Okay, so now I'm here and I'm still turning my hips, but now that angle will help the ball of your foot. Okay, you might want to give yourself a little more distance than what I can show you here as well. Okay, it will make a difference. All right, now, thank you. Question about the step on the turning kick. Okay, so I noticed you guys probably remember watching me do this kick all the time, and I'm standing in an L stance facing the pad directly, stepping off to the side into the kick. Well, I want you guys to watch something. Okay, I'm here. This is where I'm kicking. Okay, so marking that spot for a reason here, guys. Okay, if I'm here, okay, and I do my kick, look where I'm stepping. Okay, I'm doing the exact same measurement. I'm just doing it a little bit differently. Okay, but by adding this step, I can actually add body mass forward, easier for me. Okay, and remember, I haven't said it today yet. I hope you're listening. Mass and acceleration. That's what it takes to hit hard. Mass and acceleration. So if you don't have your body mass behind a technique, you're just not going to hit hard. Okay? If you don't have speed behind your technique, you're just not going to hit hard. Okay? You have to have both to hit hard. Okay? So you have mass, you have acceleration. Okay? Picking your knee up and turning your hips into it. Okay? That's going to be your acceleration. Okay? Standing up straight and pulling yourself into the kick is going to be your mass. Okay? And yes, not leaning backwards, but standing up straight in the kick. Okay? I'm here, I step, I lift, there is where it all comes through. Okay? So, turning kicks. Questions on turning kicks? Okay. All right, we're going to keep going. If you have questions, make sure you ask, okay? Put your hand. Sure. Look at that pad for a moment. Thank you. Stand right there. Now, put your hands up. Sure. Face the couch. I want you to begin doing the front splits. American splits, front splits. Okay. Now, I'm not particularly flexible with this particular stretch, but as it turns out, this, bend this ankle. No, bend it. That's straightening it. Bend your ankle. I got my best strength. Okay. This is the beginnings of the actual position for side kick. Okay. The better you are at the front splits, the better off you're going to be at a side kick. Okay. As you're kicking, you should be stretching and pushing into your kicks. Okay. And this is how a side kick ultimately should look, more or less. Okay. If you could do like legs perfectly flat on the ground and both ankles bent so that the toes you're facing are pointing straight up, the toes that you can't see are pointing straight down into the ground, that actually really is a side kick position. Okay, so right, side kicks are not that complex really. Okay, it's all about technique and timing. Okay, well, every single technique ultimately is, right? It's about technique and timing. All right, that's why we call them technique. So, Mr. Hanson, over there. We'll do kicks at a slightly different angle. Now, all of you guys, I'm sure at one point have seen me kick with a side kick. Okay, well, I'm not going to really kick in here, obviously, right? But all of this stuff goes into breaking, 100% of it. Okay. Well, just hold. You can just stand and hold. You don't need a stance or anything. Okay. All right. We talk about this measurement where your back is at it, and you take 1, 2. Okay, and this should be the range for your kick. Okay, But ultimately, what I'm going to point out that if this foot is here after my step, okay, and I do my side kick, I'm like 6 inches away, right? That's good. This is good, okay? Because right as you pick your knee up, okay, in order to get your body mass behind your kick, you have to, your body, your butt, your shoulders, your head has to move past the foot on the ground. So now my body weight is going to be behind that kick, okay? So, Mr. Hanson, put one foot behind you, just stabilize yourself a little bit, okay? Because I'm going to keep that there. That's where I can kick from now, okay? So, I'm here. All right, go ahead and relax. I just didn't want to like accidentally hit too hard and knock you over, okay? So, your range on a side kick is really super long because you're really using the length of the leg you're standing on plus the length of your kick, all right? And if you're really kicking hard, okay, you should be able to move every single person who holds that pad for you with this kick super easy. Ultimately, you should be able to do it with the front kick, the turning kick, everything. But, all right, so your side kick, get your range, okay? Take your steps, okay? Give yourself 1 or 2 extra inches. We're only talking this much, guys. I'm not telling you to do this much. I'm telling you to do this much extra. That way, you learn to push yourself into that kick, okay? So you're here, all right? I'm not really kicking, so, all right? You're in your L stance. Imagine it's a really good one, okay? So I'm here. As I'm picking my knee up in front of me, I'm already moving forward, and I need to keep that momentum going, okay? And then, right as you turn your foot, okay, you're firing out, pushing into that kick, okay? Your leg on the ground does that, okay? Up and pushes you. What should happen? It should be a very powerful word kick, okay? Right as you're pushing, your legs are doing this against each other. Your body's leaning in, not leaning back, okay? You're not bending at the waist or arching your back. Everything stays right in the middle so that as you do this, that happens, okay? And if you notice, I'm barely touching Mr. Hanson, really, but the combination of the 2 legs. Does that work with all kicks? Yes. Ultimately, yes. Okay. Stand in front of me for a front kick real quick. Okay. Oh, hold that. Hold that. Just because. Put your legs right up against the couch. That way, if you go backwards, you sit.
Mr. Bailey's watching on Facebook later.
Cool. All right. So, all right. So I'm here. As I'm kicking, okay, I'm sinking down into it, okay, but I'm pushing with the other leg also into it, okay? So yeah, it really does work, okay? In a turning kick, how do you push with the other leg? It's not so much that you're pushing with the other leg, but what you're doing is twisting on it, twisting across it, okay? Using that leg to pull the rest of your body around with your hips, okay? The action is still there. On a back kick, it should be pretty obvious because it's very much like a side kick, okay? Crescent kicks, it works. As you're pulling across with a crescent kick, you're bending your knee into it, so you're pulling your legs together or you're pressing them apart, okay? I mean, that whole reaction force thing, we've talked about that hopefully enough that you're understanding kind of the way these things should work. Should, because it's not easy to make happen, but the moment you get it, you have it, okay? So, if there's any questions, make sure you're asking, okay? I've got a few announcements for you guys. So, we are not, after, all right. First, a little bit of bad news. We have a red belt instructor, high red belt instructor down in Durango, Mr. Scott Johnson. Earlier this week, his significant other, what's his full name again?
Ernie Garcia.
Ernie Garcia ended up getting sick. I mean, obviously it's been, a couple weeks, but he ended up getting sick with COVID, and he did pass away on Wednesday morning. Or Thursday morning, excuse me, Thursday morning. I get my days mixed up, guys. So I'd like to pass on condolences for that. Very, very sad to hear that. I hope everything down in Durango is going okay, and obviously if we can do anything to help out, we're here. We're Mounts Young. This is what we do. Okay. Definitely part of the family down there. So, let us know what we can do to help. That being said, we are after today. We are not going to be doing the
next week. We're doing live next week.
Oh, she said, but whatever.
End of the month.
Okay, I'm going to have Mrs. Hanson stand up because she keeps interrupting anyways, and
okay,
she seems to know it all. So
we are adjusting our class. We are adjusting our class schedule a little bit. So we're going to do this live class and live class next week. But starting in September after the Labor Day break, we're going to adjust how we're doing the videos a little bit. We will not be doing live videos anymore, but we will be uploading videos. You're be getting the same kind of instructions, but we'll be uploading videos every Saturday so we can continue the live video and start our video library. That being said, we are going to be adjusting our in-person class schedule as well. It's not set in stone yet. So stay tuned. We'll have the official class schedule, in-person class schedule, and the adjustments we're making to that to accommodate A, for the fact that we're not going to be doing live classes anymore, and B, adjusting for school starting again.
I'm going to make one correction. We are doing live classes. We are not doing the live online classes.
Right. So we're still doing in-person classes. We're just not doing the in-person or the online classes in this format after next week. But again, we're doing the in the park classes. We're just adjusting that schedule as well to accommodate for school schedules now that school has started again. As well as adjusting for the fact that we are not doing online classes after next week. So live class next week, but after that, we're going to be adjusting that. That being said, we are doing classes in the park still, but we are trying really hard to find a space to work because it's getting darker and it's hot out right now, but it does snow here in Colorado. And so we are looking for a space. If anybody has any connections or any thoughts on where we could go to start working indoors, we're looking to do it in the next couple of weeks. So any suggestions, any ideas, any people that you have connections with, please let us know. We're looking for any help we can to hopefully find an indoor space to work in the next couple of weeks, as the city is not showing any signs of having us go back into the facilities, the recreation centers.
Okay. If you have any questions, let us know. Email, text, talk to us Monday or Thursday. Let us know. We'll get them answered as fast as we possibly can. Otherwise, everybody, Juliet, Anjo, Mukyon. Student oath, please. I shall observe the tenets of Taekwondo. I shall respect my instructors and seniors. I shall never misuse Taekwondo. I will be a champion of freedom and justice. I will help build a more peaceful world. Tenets: courtesy, integrity, perseverance, self-control, indomitable spirit. Yep. Solomon K. Come on. All right, guys. We will see you next week, and then we'll see you next week, and then we will go from there. Have a good weekend.